following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo! It's Thanksgiving's over. It's Cyber Monday, and I don't give a crap because it's been Black Friday for like months. But it is Motivational Monday and Pet Health Monday and Business Monday right here on the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman right here on W4CY Radio. And I do want to bring on my guest here and my one pipe nut. Another pipe nut is not feeling too well, which I'm not surprised because it was just Thanksgiving and everybody's going to probably feel like crap from eating all kinds of poison. What do you think, Bill, the pet health guru and the human health guru? What do you think about how people are probably feeling today on Cyber Monday after eating on Throw Up Thursday?
Absolutely right. I mean, I've at my paleo pet store, we're down at least one employee because of it. So it's a reality. Unfortunately, all the poison, all the garbage, all the mixing up of foods, and all the aggravation, the stress of all those people that you had to visit and talk with. You know, it makes it tough. It makes it tough on your body.
And I assume, too, that pets, okay, since they're there at these Thanksgiving dinners and since humans are slobs, that pets have a field day with the food going on the floor. And how does that affect them? I'd like to know, does that affect their liver and kidneys eating Thanksgiving human food?
You know, our pets, of course, are under the same stresses because of all the commotion and all of that sort of stuff that's going on, you know, with just a crowd of people, basically. And, of course, all the smells. They want to eat everything under the sun, so everybody's feeding them everything under the sun. And, you know, that's when I get the phone calls, you know, I get diarrhea, the vomiting, and all this stuff going on. It's like, well, you know, the body's got to get rid of what you put into it. And it's as simple as that. And that's why we chose the topic for this week, with being about the kidney and liver, because everything that's going into the body's got to go out through the liver or through the skin. But even the stuff coming out through the skin in detox is still run through and processed through the liver itself, at least to a smaller degree. And of course, the kidneys are affected because that's downstream of the liver. So if you've got a kidney problem, it started in the liver and then started in the gut before that.
So, Juan, how does your kidney and liver feel after Thanksgiving?
It actually feels really good. I had a really healthy meal, and I think I did it pretty good this year. I didn't have to cook this year, so.
I want to hear about the healthy meal. Tell me about that, because I can
it was actually Asian noodles. So it's a lot of like real bone broth soup. It was really good.
What do you think about that for Thanksgiving, Pet Health Guru?
I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, you know, we got to start out good. And actually, the interesting thing, though, about the liver and kidney, unless you happen to be passing kidney stones, you really never even think about it. You don't feel that extreme thing. All your distress is coming from your gut itself. An upset stomach, you know, even the diarrhea, all that stuff is coming from the gut, not from the liver. But we have to make sure that the liver is being taken care of on a regular basis.
And then, of course, on Thanksgiving, there's a lot of alcohol being drank, so that affects the liver. But let's talk about healthy livers and healthy kidneys and what are the keys for your pet to a healthy liver and a healthy kidney?
Well, basically, we use the same approach as we do in people, and it's about detoxification. Unfortunately, in today's world, every breath that we take is of contaminated air. Every bit of basically every substance, because of the water, is the same thing. I know when I was traveling on Thanksgiving Day to a place to have dinner, and we threw on a podcast that was talk about infuriating. This person was talking about the tax cuts and all that stuff that's been stripped out of the budget, and that without that, all these people with letters after their names um, can no longer get the funding to clean up our air and our water.
Hmm.
So what have they been doing for the last 50 years? you know, we have to take it upon ourselves, which is where I use different herbals and botanicals and different foods to clean out the gut. And you have to do it every single day. Unfortunately, you can't do a liver cleanse once a year and expect to be healthy. When you're putting bad stuff in every single day.
And what about, that raises a question for me, because I've done, the liver cleanses that you buy in the different stores in the past. Are those just bull crap? Those
Most of
type.
A lot of them are. And first off, if you're going to clean out the liver, the kidney, or any, even down to a cellular level, you need to find what is found in nature. Medications don't do it. I mean, you can clean a lot of stuff out, you can poison a lot of stuff, parasites, things like that, but that's not going down to that cellular level. Things like milk thistle, dandelion root, turmeric, all these different herbs and botanicals all have a place because they're foods. They're not medicines. They are actually foods, and we should be using them in everyday cooking, everyday presentation. And we've just gotten lazy and open up a frozen meal, and who cares what chemicals have been put into it, which is going to add to that.
So, Juan, can you imagine this? Bill and I were alive at a time where there was no such thing as a microwave. I'm not even sure if there was a such thing as an oven. No, there was an oven. But yeah, I remember when we first got microwaves. And
Yeah,
I remember from the very beginning, there was warnings of the radiation from the microwaves. And, you know, interestingly enough, you cook certain foods in the microwave, you're going to cook out all of the nutrients that actually help you.
absolutely. And it's of course now the fad with food processing is freeze drying, and all these freeze dried treats and foods, and that just add water to it. When you look at them under a microscope compared to a real food, they are dead. All the nutrients are basically killed. So what are you getting from your food? That's why they have to fortify everything. Um, I was looking at, I'm trying to think what product it was over the weekend, and oh, it was just pasta. And from Italy, which is supposed to be the best, obviously, it's clean and everything
Right.
else. And it had 3 or 4 chemicals in it and had to be fortified.
Mm.
You can't, and of course, the person that had bought it, they're looking at it like, I thought I bought the best one I could. So the labeling of these foods, the labeling of cleaning products, all of that is so deceptive that you have no clue what you're getting. And so you're
Yeah.
already starting out behind the 8 ball. You know, my advice, use the different herbs, botanicals that are going to do that are going to be anti-inflammatory, that are going to clean out the liver. Like I said, milk thistle is the number one for that, but there's a whole plethora of other ones. The kidney, dandelion root dissolves kidney stones. Oh my God, why do we have to suffer with them?
Oh,
Anybody,
yeah, you're
anybody,
speaking my language. You're speaking my language right now because I have passed kidney stones 3 times. One
Ouch.
time, one time I couldn't even pass it, so it had to be surgically done, and that's not fun.
no.
Um, you know, just isn't. I don't know if I should describe it, but it just well maybe just imagine taking a shovel and then putting it up your urethra canal, and that's what it feels like. But
Yeah,
that's also what it feels like passing a kidney stone. Okay, so I have a very high tolerance to pain, and when I was married, one night I just, in the middle of the night, I just started screaming from the top of the stairs to my wife. I'm like, take me to the hospital as loud as I could. And first of all, she never really heard those words out of my mouth. Okay. Because that was not me. I'd have to be dead or close to. And,
Yes.
and she never heard me like feel pain like that. For all the women out there that say men can't experience what it's like, the pain of pregnancy, I say that's true for men that never had a kidney stone. And even women say that. They're like,
Yeah.
that's the closest thing to, but, and I have one now, interestingly enough to what you were saying, I have one sitting in my kidney right now that's been sitting there for years. Does it affect me in any way? Not that I know of. Okay. So to your point, like you could be riddled with kidney stones and not even know it till you pass it. That's why I like how you said passing a kidney stone, because it's not just having it, it's passing it. And those little jagged edges. Juan, have you ever had a kidney stone?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
so if this doesn't start you eating healthy, what I'm about to say, nothing will. Imagine a starfish shaped stone. It is a stone made out of calcium with jagged edges that is at least twice the size of your urethra canal, ripping all the way through your from the inside of your genitals to the outside of your genitals, slowly, and then blood flowing out like the exorcist. That's a kidney passing a kidney stone. Did I describe that pretty good, Bill?
Pretty good, and you kept it, within the boundaries of what we're allowed to say.
You could have said chalk nails on the chalkboard, and I would have understood it.
Oh no, it's way worse than nails on the chalkboard. It's what's that movie? There's a movie that was out recently, or a TV show or something, where the bad guys like put these people they were torturing, and they had these spikes that if they pushed a button, the spikes would pop out, and they put this like thing inside somebody's urethra and push the button. That's what it feels like.
One of the interesting things about the whole thing too is the stones are the result of toxins, because what the body does is it creates mucus. For instance, if you painted a room and you get all the fumes and everything else, next morning you get up and your whole head is stuffy. That's the mucus.
Yeah.
That goes down throughout the whole body, and when it sticks to something like your gallbladder, your kidneys, your liver, your bladder, if it sticks there long enough, it calcifies, as you said. Okay, it's all it is. It's a calcification. Interesting thing is your liver generally is the primary area that it ends up. What we
Hmm.
get in our kidney had to come out of the liver and into that connection. Most of our stones though are excreted, through feces, because the opening, the gateway, is so much bigger we never feel it. But when it gets down there in that kidney or that bladder, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, and how about gallstones? That's like the trend nowadays too. And the trend is just to take the gallbladder out. What's your feelings on that? Like to me, I think your organs were put in there for a reason. Even when they say, "Oh, that organ really doesn't have any purpose to it," the ones that they take out,
Yeah,
and I call bullshit.
it is. It is. It's funny because, of course, the gallbladder is a favorite for them to just remove rather than deal with what caused it. But
Exactly.
the appendix was the big one, because they couldn't find any use for it. And come to find out, in the last 10 years or so, all of a sudden they discovered that the appendix actually holds good gut bacteria, so that when we kill it by taking medications and antibiotics, our body is able to replace that and get the system going again. But if you remove that, how are you going to do that? With the foods that we eat today that are not live, I mean, you can get probiotics. You can buy them in the store, but they're dead. I don't know what the sense of that is, because they're all pasteurized. when you pasteurize anything, you're killing it. And of course, if you're taking that tablet, the hydrochloric acid in our gut is going to ruin it anyway. So, the number of dollars that people throw away on useless supplements and probiotics and pills that do nothing for the body except
Yeah,
screw it up even more.
it's a whole marketing plan. So Juan here, this is why I like having Juan on. We can talk about stuff that he probably never experienced ever. Okay, so I don't know if they taught you in school, but when we went to school, they taught the key to health is the four basic food groups. Did you learn that in school?
Sounds familiar, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, so the four basic food groups were basically all the things that American farmers and ranchers and people like that produced, and it was a marketing plan for them. So you had to have your dairy with and then things change all the time. So like I want to talk about that on another episode, Bill, where like why one day dairy's good and one day it's not. One day eggs are good, one day it's not. It, one day Pluto's a planet, one day it's not. And then one day it's a planet again. And that's what happens with these foods. They go back and forth. The four basic food groups, in my experience and opinion, and I want to hear what Bill says. Factually, it was a marketing plan, but in my opinion, it was not healthy.
No,
But
not
difference is, it's not healthy today because all the GMOs.
right. And it was actually a government-sponsored marketing plan, so that every segment of agriculture basically would get their fair share. That's like communism. We have to make sure everybody gets the same. But
Yes.
that's really what it was. And if something was out of balance, that's when the government jumps in and starts with their guiding the marketplace, if you will, with subsidies and tax breaks and all this sort of thing. And whoever's out there in Washington that screams the loudest gets the most.
Well, that's kind of like nowadays, now present day. That's the same with bacon because all the pig ranchers, they were complaining to the government that they weren't getting their fair share of the business. So now bacon is this big craze, and you can have chocolate bacon, you can have bacon donuts, you can have everything that you can have bacon on everything. Is it now, Juan? You did coverage with me at the South Florida Fair. Did
Right.
you have any chocolate covered bacon or did you have a donut burger?
No, I did not.
Like, what is with that, Bill? Why are they just mad science, like putting things together that should not be put together?
It's again. I've had some conversations recently on the marketing. I mean, you take like a lot of my herbal blends, just even for liver and kidney. Um, Everybody in the world that wants to make money can look at my product. They'll take a little bit. They'll take the main ingredients, and then they'll add, maybe apricot filling, for a change in flavor. And then mine is better because the apricots are going to be more natural than the herb or sweeter, or, whatever it is. So they keep taking what's the base, which is basic meat in the case of bacon, and we have to find different ways of marketing so that mine is more important than yours, and I gain more dollars than you do. And of course, when they do this stuff too, basically, you're adding on, supposedly added value. You're getting more bang for your buck, and I can charge more for that.
And the fact of the matter is, everything in life, in my opinion, you pay for what you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
Bottom line. So,
yeah.
how do people reach out to you, the Pet Health Guru, for any kind of advice, information, find out about all your products, services, and all that stuff? Where do they go to find your website, socials, all that?
Of course, the website is mypaleopet.com for e-commerce for all the products that we sell. including the consultations. If you want a personal consultation, you can order it right there online. Of course, I'm on the Pet Health Cafe every Thursday night, and of course, it's 24/7 on YouTube and a whole bunch of other platforms. Um, so you can at least get the basics. I tell people even before a consultation, go ahead, watch the podcast, then put down your questions so you're not wasting my time or yours. At least we got a guided thing going on there. Um, and of course, I'm at my Paleo Pet probably only 6 days a week normally. So you walk in the door, you can get some advice. The team over there is also well trained in health as well. And I'm like kind of like all over the place. I'm here with you, of course, and that's another good resource. Your audience is different than mine, and hopefully they're going to check us out.
And I definitely think they should, because listen, I had a pug, for those that don't know, and that pug probably lived several more years because of using the Pet Health Guru and his guru advice and guru products, for sure. So here's what I want to do too is I want to talk a little bit more about your show, but I got to switch things up on Juan here a little bit, because I gave him told him what to do for the show today, and I am not following anything I told him. So
What's new?
and now I'm going to mix it up even more, because listen, our main studio is right here in Florida. Your Paleo Pet is right here in Florida.
Yeah.
A festival that we give away tickets for is right here in Florida. So by that coincidence, anybody that DMs me after hearing this next commercial, and I hope I've given enough information to Juan for him to know which one to do, because it's not in the same order it was supposed to be. And so basically, if you are watching or listening to this right now or on the podcast, DM me on any of my socials, Pipeman Radio, and use the code Pet Health Guru, and you will be entered to win tickets to this following festival right here in Florida. Roll it, Juan.
Welcome to Rockville. Returns to Daytona International Speedway May 7th through 10th with Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, and Bring Me the Horizon. Plus Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville, May 7th through 10th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at welcometorockville.com.
Now, you also have to make sure you go to, the My Paleo Pet website. You have to join them on socials. That's all part of winning the tickets, okay? You can't just be, hi, I want to win the tickets. You want the benefit, you got to put out the effort. But I want to talk a little bit more about the show, because people need to tune into your show on the regular. Because, you have this segment on our show here, and it's just a segment. There's so much more that people can benefit from and learn. So give everybody like an overview of what they can expect on Pet Health Cafe. And everybody make sure it's not on this station live. If you're going to watch it live, you watch it on W4HC Radio, Health Cafe Live, W4HC.com. And you can also look up Pet Health Cafe on anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and you'll find Pet Health Cafe, and you can listen to all the past episodes. But tell us a little bit more of why they should join the fan club of Pet Health Cafe.
Well, like our intro on the show comes in, this is where your pet has a voice. I just did the Thanksgiving show, which we emphasized that a lot. Your animals are talking to you all the time. Your kids are talking to you. Your spouse is talking to you all the time. Most of the time, we don't listen. We have the information, though, that can put you on the path to health. And it's all based primarily on nutrition and healthy lifestyle, how to make that healthy lifestyle, without the use of modern medicine, which is good in an emergency, but the rest of the time it's basically making you sick. I have a lot of different guests in there that will talk about different topics, top veterinarians on the holistic side, researchers on the mineral and food side, and we just try to take it segment by segment. How does the stomach work? How does the digestive tract work? How does the liver and kidney work? How do we make it optimized? So every week is a different topic going into a different area, and as you start to follow it, you'll see where we're going. We're telling you how to fix that body naturally, how to fix your animal, the energy that's involved. Everything is interrelated. It's a system. The body is a system. It's not a bunch of random parts that you can remove, like you mentioned before. You know, you take out the gallbladder, something else has got to take up its place. Something else has got to work overtime. And then overtime is what causes the inflammation, the stress, and all disease, all illnesses. The primary cause is stress.
Oh,
And our
and
makes
we
us
have a lot of it. We have a lot of stress, and especially now during the holidays, there's major amounts of stress, and I think that's bullshit too. Let's stop stressing everybody out about the holidays, and it's all like a retail nightmare. And how many people are really joyous when they're stressed out? How good? Let me ask you a question. One, studies show that people spend the first 6 months of the following year paying for everything they spent on Christmas. How do you feel about working half the year just for a day?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. I mean,
You
and
know,
that's I mean that's the truth too. And I mean when you stop and think about it, um, those of us that are single and might have friends, and you buy gifts for them and trying to celebrate with them, and 2 months later they're out of your life. Well, what was the benefit for that?
right? You know what I do love about Christmas though is I love it's like one of the only days of the year that somebody isn't going to text or email me about something to do with their radio show. Because I did get texts and emails on Thanksgiving, 100%,
Yes.
and calls. I'm like, I'm thinking, I don't remember before this whole internet thing, anybody having the balls to call a business on Thanksgiving.
Didn't
But here
happen.
we are. And
Yep.
I say this because you're talking about stress. That's the stress right there. There's no downtime. There's no disconnection. That
No.
like everything's going all the time. Just like I was joking about Black Friday, but it's not a joke. It's been Black Friday for 3 months, for God's sake. Like literally, Black Friday used to actually mean something. Now it's just a quarter of the whole year is
oh
Black
yeah, I
Friday.
remember the fights during Black Friday events.
Yeah, that
Camping out the store at 3 a.m. in the morning, just waiting for the store to open.
Yeah, why don't we have that fun anymore? All we're doing is typing on our computer.
I
Listen,
know.
being able to throw somebody against the wall so you can get in front of them for a Black Friday sale at 3 a.m., that is a God given American right. And they took it away from us. Same with concert tickets. I used to camp out at the actual physical ticket master, not Ticketmaster, Ticketron it was, locations, and literally camp out like for like 24 hours waiting to buy tickets. Where see, we need to get out there in the world and do that, and maybe we'll stop hating each other because we're hating each other because we're sitting behind a screen. We don't have to agree with each other, but we don't have to hate each other either. That's my viewpoint. My viewpoint is, you know what? You do you. And let's go camp out and get some tickets and let's dial our phone numbers one number at a time. That was a pain in the ass, I have to say. I'm glad
Well,
we're out of rotary phone days.
well,
But if
we
you
used
think
to have to.
about it, that's what used to make you be more social because you had to be around people.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people have so much anxiety around other people. They don't even want to go grocery shopping. They would rather just order their groceries online.
And they're proud of being introverts. I never heard of that way back when. What were you going to say, Bill, before?
Well, that whole thing that Juan just mentioned is that not only were you around people, but you were around like-minded people.
Mm.
If you're standing in line for tickets to a concert, all your buddies are there, whether you've met them
Yeah,
before
those are
or
your
not.
people. Even the strangers, they're your
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Now people hide behind these screens and they're exposed to, like, you know what? It's hilarious that no matter what your viewpoint is, you get hate. It's not really hilarious, to be honest, but it's like, that's a great point because you did, hang with your own type of people. And when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about any other bullshit except people that enjoy the same things that you do. That's it. We can all be together and enjoy the same things we do. Everything doesn't have to be this divided stance. And like, I believe in activism, but not everything has to have a cause. Like
I mean,
it's
you
ridiculous.
want to see the gathering of tribalism? Go to a Buffalo Bills game.
There you go.
And in any city, that's the other part of it. In any city, you've got, part of your tribe is there. You're people that have the common interest. You may hate each other.
And then there's the Giants fans like me that have my tribe that hate the Bills fans.
That's right. And yet, where we are in a hateful confrontation, sharing a beer.
Exactly. It used to be you could share a beer with the people you hated, and then everything was all right. Now, not so much.
No,
Juan,
not
I feel bad for you having to, like, grow up in this world.
Well, I will say this. It has kept me away from a lot of bad characters, so I'm not complaining about it. But, being social has become less of a norm now,
Listen,
especially with the new generation.
we talk about Gen Xers like me talk about it all the time, okay? Like, you were kicked out of the house when the sun came up, and don't come back till the sun's down. And if you want water, okay, don't knock on the door, hit the garden hose, don't bother me, okay? And you would explore it. The parents would tell you, don't go outside this boundary, whatever it was. They didn't know you went wherever,
Right.
and you didn't have Ring doorbells that are snitching on you when you're doing ding dong ditch. Okay. You could just do ding dong ditch without a worry. Like, no wonder kids have anxiety. They have to worry about if they're going to get caught on somebody's ring when they ding dong ditch. Imagine what would happen, Bill, now with a ring if you took a bag of crap and set it on fire on Halloween and rang the doorbell.
Well, here's a question. Considering that things have more chemicals now, would that bag of burning poop go out?
It
Or
would
would it
be
just-
bad for their health. They'd be breathing in very bad fumes.
The
It would
fire
be
department, the backup would be the hazmat unit coming in. Absolutely.
How's
And
that
could
for
you-
a trick or treat?
Listen, could you imagine what would happen today if you? I imagine, like, kids today, they have snowball fights and somebody gets offended and tells, and then you get thrown in prison for having a snowball fight.
Yeah.
It depends if you put ice inside of it or not.
And it's funny too. Okay, so my daughter was saying something to my grandson because my grandson was here. I took him paddle boarding. I've taught him how to skateboard, and she's telling him, make sure you wear your helmet when you skateboard, and make sure you wear your helmet when you bike ride. I'm like, crap! Now I'm gonna have to get a helmet for myself just to set the example. Like, who wore a helmet? Listen. I do all that stuff and I don't get hurt, but right now I have scabs right here on my head because I was walking through the zoo with my daughter and grandson and son-in-law, and I was on the phone with a radio show client. I'll just say, I don't know if I should say who it is, but regardless. And there was like some log there. You know, I'm short. I never think about my head running into things, okay? I don't have that problem. And boom, like right in the head. I'm like, and my son-in-law's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Ow." That's exactly how I reacted. And then woke up this morning. I was like, "Oh crap! It's all scabbed up. I didn't even know it bled." Oh well, you know, that's what Gen X is all about. Not like, "Oh my God, I got a mosquito bite. We need to go to the hospital." Take care of your liver, folks. Take care of your kidneys, folks. Don't get a kidney stone. Trust me. It's like you may think, "Oh, this would be kind of fun to try." You know what? You're better off eating the Tide Pods. Okay. Do not eat do not eat your kidney stones either. That's my advice for would it be how unhealthy or healthy would it be, Pet Health Guru, if you ate your own kidney stones?
It would probably be digested because of the hydrochloric acid in our stomach. But other than that, benefit none.
There it is.
Except
Okay.
feeling nauseous at the thought of it.
All right. Now we're going to talk about some powerful business strategies with Michael Barbarita, and we're going to talk about increasing prices and how that's a beneficial strategy for everybody when it comes to business. Thanks for tuning in to this segment of Positively Pipeman with the Pet Health Guru. And if you missed any part of this segment will also be on anywhere you listen to podcasts. Pet Health Guru, once again, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week with some more great information. Everybody make sure to tune in next week, Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, to the Adventures of Pipeman right here on W4CY Radio. But don't go away now. I'm just saying, if you want to catch the Pet Health Guru. Now, we're going to have some powerful business strategies. Roll it, Juan.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio with our Positively Pipeman segment featuring Michael Barbarita from Powerful Business Strategies and Next Steps CFO. How are you, Michael?
Excellent. How are you, Dane?
I'm doing great. And
Good.
I'll tell you what you're going to talk about today couldn't be more appropriate right now because, okay, you're going to talk about increased prices, and that is happening everywhere.
Yes.
So let's talk about it.
But unfortunately, my clients, at least in the experiences I have, they have a fear relative to increasing prices.
Me too.
And there's a fear. And but what the data shows is that customers who focus solely on price often require more time and attention. They're the loudest in demanding value versus those who do not rely on price necessarily, right? Those are the ones that should be entitled to the best treatment. And when you do give them the best treatment, they tend to have fewer complaints and are easy to deal with. So that's like the baseline that I'd like to present relative to increased prices. The other thing that is interesting is that when clients of mine make small incremental price increases every quarter or so over time, they do a couple of things. Number one, it gives them it allows them to increase prices eventually where they should be. Number one, but number two, it also gives them time to increase the value of what they're offering to justify these price increases. But when they happen small and incrementally, they hardly get noticed. So, but the reason why business owners fear price increase is because the business owner's perception is that there's no discernible difference between the value that they bring and the value their competitors bring. So in other words, they don't think that they think that it's only about price. And so therefore, if I increase my prices, I'm going to lose customers. That's what they think. Now, one of the tools that we have at Next Step CFO is we can show you that how many customers you can afford to lose. You give us the price increase that you plan on having. We can show you how many customers you can afford to lose and still make the same profit that you did before you had the price increase. So that is usually very convincing to customers, to clients, to actually increase their prices, because what they find out most of the time is they can lose 10 to 15% of their customer base, which they don't think would happen in a million years, and still make the same amount of money that they did before the price increase. And the other fear that the business owner has is the business owner uses their own financial position, their own wallet, as a benchmark for determining what a consumer can afford. And that is totally bad practice.
Totally. And I'll add to that too, because business owners tend to also, speaking of their own wallet, if they don't increase prices, they take money out of their wallet to pay the increased expenses they have.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I have clients that fear it so much, and things like insurance are going up, and every other expense you could think of is increasing, and they're still hesitant. And despite the fact that I show them they could lose, in one case, I showed a client how he could lose 20% of his current customer base and still make the same amount of money that he's making now that he made before the price increase. Still won't do it. So that fear, that perception that there's no discernible difference. And I have some clients that have clear discernible differences why they're better, yet they still are hesitant to increase price. And they use their own wallet. They use their own wallet to determine, I don't think I could afford it, so therefore I'm not going to charge that price. Yeah. So it's just, so it's really, and when you come right down to it, it's really not about price. It's about the value that you're delivering versus your competitors. And if you really don't believe that you offer more value than your competitors, I'm wondering why you're in business.
Right. And I'll also say that, like, if your customers perceive value and they see that prices are increasing everywhere, yeah, they may not like the price increase, but it's not going to make them stop doing business with you if they still see the value.
That's right. And here's the thing. Here's a rule of thumb that I use with clients. I ask what your closing rate is. And if your closing rate is between 25 and 33%, I think you're priced right. If your closing rate is below is higher than 33%, your prices are too low. And that's a benchmark that I use when I'm talking to clients. They're pounding their chest because their closing rate is so high. But the reason why their closing rate is so high is their prices are too low.
Right.
And so if you could fall between that 25 and 33% closing rate, you're probably priced correctly. And if you're below that, you're probably priced too high.
And think about all those companies in history that didn't raise prices. They kept the prices super low. Okay. They're not in business today. Right. But their closing rate was very high because people were buying from them because it was so cheap.
That's right. That's right. And, here's something that adds value that actually Japanese auto dealerships do. What they do is they provide potential customers, when they come in, with a small drink menu on a laminated card. And there's no big cost to that. They probably have 4 or 5 variety of drinks, from soft drinks and water and that kind of stuff. But what if your bank did this for you? What if a spa did it? What if a doctor in a waiting room did it? What if a hair salon did it? These are just different small little things that add value at a low cost.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, it's just common sense. You own a business, your prices are increased, you have to increase your prices to a customer to stay in business and flourish, and yes, there's some people that aren't going to understand that. There's some people that aren't going to like it, but you're always going to have people fall off. And I want to put it that way. It's kind of like the band that they start getting commercial. They're no longer a garage band, and their followers, their small group of followers in the underground are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to listen to them anymore. They sold out, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you lost like 25 people and gained 2 million.
That's right.
Think of that.
That's right. And, it goes back to what I said at the very beginning. When you increase prices, you get rid of the pain in the necks, right?
Yes.
Customers should focus on price, and all those pain in the neck customers that are demanding more value from you at a lower price.
Oh, I just had that recently. Okay, I have somebody that negotiates with me every single time, and I'm just like, no, because it's always the ones that want you to give them the most that want you to charge the least.
Right. That's right. For whatever reason, I don't know the reason. It's a law of nature of some sort, but that's exactly what happens.
It's true in every business. When I was in the financial business, the people that sent me 5,000 would call 50 times a day. The people that sent me 1 million never called me. And if I called them, I was annoying them. Just do whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
And the reason I bring up that example is because there is an answer of why they do it. It's because the people that spend the least, that money means the most to them. The money carries way more value than the person that spends the most with you.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, no, I find that, I find that there's just tremendous resistance from my clients to increase prices. And when they do, they're breathing a sigh of relief because they see the benefits on the P&L. I mean, it's just a simple strategy that can be employed. But I want to stress the fact that as you incrementally increase prices, nice and small incremental increases, always figure out ways to add more value. And if you do that, you'll be way ahead of the game. And the price increases will be hardly noticed. And if they are noticed, they'll be justified with more value.
It could be small too, like whatever you offer them could be a small thing, not a big deal, And the fact of the matter is, nobody likes paying higher prices, but after a while, it becomes the norm. Like, how many of us at our generation, the norm for a gallon of gas was 85 cents. And now when it goes under $3, we're like, oh my God, what a bargain.
Yeah. Customer psychology.
Totally.
Yeah. So just a couple of questions that a business owner should ask themselves is, what can I do better this month to make customers feel more appreciated? Because this is part of that adding more value stuff, and it makes it easier when a business owner adds more value. It makes it easier for them to make the decision to increase price.
Yeah.
So that's a good question that people should be asking themselves as they're going through this process and making small incremental price increases over time.
My example of that is what I do is because I give human customer service instead of AI. So like to me, that's a lot of value. To me, that's a lot of value because no matter what company I call, if I'm dealing with AI or I'm dealing with somebody that doesn't understand what I'm looking for and they're just reading a script, like I lose my mind, man. But if I can talk to a human being, and usually the human being will make me feel good.
Yeah. So what I'd like to offer the audience too, if they're so inclined, is I have a workbook that I have called Increase Prices, and it's an actual step-by-step workbook of how to get over the psychology of increasing prices, as well as the strategies used to add more value, and some of the concepts that we talked about today. And if they would like that, they could just go to my website, nextstepcfo.net. and then go to the contact page and put in workbook on increased prices. After they fill out the contact form in the message box, just put workbook on increased prices, and I'll send it to them. Free of charge.
Nice. I love it. So thank you so much. You give us such great insight for businesses, and I think people need it more than ever right now because
they really do.
Of a lot of reasons. Pricing, technology, changes, evolution. There's, if you're a business right now, opposed to 50 years ago, you can't afford to snooze for even a day. Okay.
Right. That's right.
Like you have to be on top of it. What you're going to do to provide more value and to be able to sustain profitability. Like, listen, everybody would love to say like they bought something at cost, but companies can't survive that way. Okay. So you have to be the type of mentality that's like, you're okay with the business making a profit, but as long as that value that you're getting is worth that profit. So thanks for all this great advice. Everybody increase your prices and increase your value and pay attention, Michael Barbarita, and check out Next Step CFO. And you too could not only get this workbook, but could get help in your business to grow. So thanks once again. We'll see you next week on the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you, Dean. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.